Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sound Lodge Podcast, also known as the Lodge Podcast, also known as the Lodge Cast.
Welcome to the Slouchcast, episode 23.
Episode 23, just like Michael Jordan did.
Just like basketball.
That's just like basketball, actually.
That's just like it.
Yeah. So, hope you guys have been doing well over the past week or so.
Let us know what you've been up to in the comments. What you've been doing, making any new tunes, making any new
Friends?
Maybe you've told them about Sound Lodge so far. Maybe you've reached the point in the relationship, the friendship, where you can introduce your favorite podcast.
Right.
And see how much they judge you.
This one is your favorite podcast. Not any other ones, hopefully.
Yeah. And, yeah, because that's how I judge my friendships. I send them this podcast, and if they don't like it, I'm like, you wouldn't be fun to hang out with.
Yeah, true. Because only fun people to hang out with listen to the Slodge podcast or watch the Slodge podcast even. That's will make it even more fun if you watch the podcast episodes.
Yep.
But yeah, so let us know down in the comments. Say, hey, this is what's been going on with me in the last week or so. A quick break right here. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
This is us from the end of the episode. We
2
just
hours
remembered.
in the future.
Yeah. We have to put this at the start because this is incredible. Zombie X Leader sent this to me, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. So we're just going to let that roll.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Sound Lodge! Sound Lodge! Mwah! 10! Stop! Mwah! 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 Hey! Enough! Hey!
Big shouts out
Yeah.
to Zombie X Leader. This made both of our days. I mean, unbelievable.
The best part of it, though, that made my day completely complete was when he was like, I actually don't even know when Sound Lodge's birthday is. I was like, dude, me neither.
Yeah.
So it's probably not Sound Lodge's birthday. Maybe it is. I don't know. Hey, we got 3 new subscribers.
Bang. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
February 3rd. So it happened a couple months ago.
Yeah. February 3rd.
2023.
Is our birthday. We're gonna play that video every February 3rd episode. So next February 3rd, 2026, that's gonna be kicking off the next video.
Happy birthday. Sound Lodge.
Sound Lodge.
Sound Lodge.
They kissed me.
Yeah,
That felt good.
they kissed us. It's pretty cool. What's been going on with you in the last week or so?
What's been going on with me? I remember the last episode I said that I would have the country video out.
And I joked about how the next episode
Yeah.
you'd say, this time I'm really gonna have
Guess
that.
what though? I finished the video, but I can't upload it because the sponsor correspondent is on vacation. So I gotta wait, I think, a week now. So that kind of sucks that I spent that long. But that's all on me. I gotta be better. I gotta edit quicker. Or
Pay somebody
or
below minimum wage, or maybe not at all to edit for you.
you know what we should talk about is Sonic Boom
Mm.
is no longer with us.
Yeah,
And
the deceased
Andrew Huang, Rob Scallon.
Scallon.
What is Scallion?
I think it's
What's a rapscallion?
Rapscallion is just like a rowdy little kid or something.
I'm a rapscallion.
But scallions are like
Food,
onions or
Yeah.
something, right?
something like that. But
Green onions.
we always romanticize the idea of having an editor
Yeah.
and like having a big production thing.
Yeah.
And then I watched that video and I realized the grass is always greener.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you get to that point and then you're like, well, I'm paying like 7 people to hold a camera and like 4 editors and like all this other stuff. And like, he said like they took losses in like the tens of thousands of dollars. Like, that's pretty.
He said the first season was very successful, but
True.
the second season, which is like, that's YouTube. Those videos got 500,000, and then the second season they only got 100K.
Which, to be fair, that's like a lot of shows in general, like even just on TV. A lot of times shows fail because this first season is really good and it builds a lot of hype. And the second season, just for some reason, people don't latch onto it enough, or like they don't build the hype the same way they did with the first one. So, and a lot of times what it is it'll be like first episode of season 2 gets a lot of views because people are interested from the hype from the first season. And then or like the first episode of season 2, they're like, oh, this isn't really what I expected. I wanted to kind of go above and beyond and get like bigger and better, but it's kind of just like lackluster, and then people are like fall off. So
Yeah.
pretty sad though to see him not be
It
doing
is
that.
sad, man.
I totally get it though. Like,
Yeah,
it's totally
if y'all don't
understandable.
know what we're talking about, I assume you do. If you're on the production side of YouTube, those are kind of the goats of music production.
Yeah.
Not music production, music related YouTube.
Yeah, just music YouTube videos.
They both have They're both in the mills.
Yeah. I think, they're kind of like the mainstream guys you watch. I mean, if maybe you don't watch a whole lot of YouTube, but basically 2 YouTubers, Rob Scallon, Andrew Huang, had this series that was really cool. They would just go into a studio and they would do a different like music challenge. It was really professional.
It's kind of what we do in our room, but
Yeah.
like very professional.
Exactly, yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, there's been a couple of videos that we've done where people have drawn some parallels to Andrew, whatever the hell. I said Andrew Scallon at first, but people have drawn some comparisons to us and them. But the one distinction that a lot of people said was like, it's cool to see people doing this just like from their bedroom, like from just a bedroom studio, which is kind of like you said, grass is always greener. I enjoy doing it just like from at home. Having maybe like a person to hold the camera here and there would be nice.
Yeah, totally.
I don't need like big, huge production, like massive budget kind of thing, but like having a little bit of
It
people
just
helping.
feels unnatural when you have a thought of maybe, let's say we're producing and, you know, in my head it pops up and it's like, oh, I'm so fatigued, I'm losing my mind, but I don't say it right away because I have to get out the camcorder, hit record, and then say it. Like that just feels. I feel like I'm a fake or a fraud or something, but that is YouTube. You have to be in that mindset because if you don't capture it, then it's not in the video.
Well, that's the thing too. Like that's why with a lot of my videos, I just leave the camera running for like probably like 4 hours.
Sucks.
The editing sucks. But the thing is, you capture all those moments of like real, authentic, like me just like talking to myself or talking to the camera, just like saying this little thing or that little thing. Because having to flip it on every time is just such a process. And like it's kind of the thing with really doing anything. If there's some sort of even small barrier to entry, a lot of times you're just like not going to do it. So having that be like eliminating that so that you can just kind of do your thing naturally is probably the most important thing. But yeah, so that's pretty crazy.
Also with that video, it helps you realize, you know, YouTubers are humans too.
Yeah.
I feel like our subscribers understand that a little bit more so because we're very authentic and real.
Yeah.
And like I just try to be myself on the app, and I feel like a lot of people do see that side of me.
Yeah.
But seeing a creator like Andrew Huang, who's all of his shots are in super 4K, super in focus, it has a nice aesthetic and everything. And him and like Rob just be real and talk about how it's not profitable. Also Rob talking about his health issues.
Yeah.
Like that was a very kind of a cool insight. Not cool because I'm sad for the guy, but
So cool
it
that he
is
has
happy that he's
bipolar
healthy.
disorder.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
happy that he's healthy now.
Yeah, I remember watching that video, the full video on his channel where he talked about it, and that was like really cool insightful to see. And also it kind of, I feel like to see somebody who's in a position like that share their experience and what they go through with that, like makes you feel a lot more good about like whatever you're going through. It makes you feel like you're kind of not alone with whatever's going on. I think it's really important for people who have kind of a platform to be able to share those things and just be open and honest about like even the bad parts of life, because that's life, you know? And it's not all just like Mr. Beast, I'm going to burn a Lamborghini today kind of videos, you know?
Another fun point was Andrew Huang talking about how he said, you know, filming, recording, idea, everything is made that day. But he said, my mixing process, I just have to be the one who mixes it.
Yeah,
and
was
that
cool.
is so me, because like that's what makes my videos take so long to finish. Because I need to have my hand in the mix and master.
Right.
It's not in the case that I have an engineer and I have to do it myself.
Yeah.
I don't even have an engineer, but it just takes me so long to engineer a song and mix and master it. And in my mind, it has to be perfect. And I feel like that's what made a lot of their videos delayed too. Because Andrew could have been like, yeah, I mean, you are a professional engineer. You can mix this song.
Right.
But he's an artist. And it's just weird handing off a sketch or even a 50% finished painting to another painter, even if they're professional, and saying, okay, you can go ahead and finish this one and then put it out with my name on it.
Because it'll be good, but it won't be exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
And it's funny also that you mentioned that too, because I'm sure we've mentioned a few times on the podcast before, like it would be so nice to have like a Andrew Huang, Rob Scallon kind of first day of October thing where like we have an engineer for us and we just don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We can just record and play. It makes you realize like we probably wouldn't even want that anyways, to be fair. Like because part of just what makes our stuff is that it is our stuff, and like we are the ones who have the hands in it. So it's nice. And also the thing is that I was thinking about with when I was watching a lot of the John Bellion stuff, like him talking about his label contract and everything, the fact that we own 100% of everything that we do is really, really nice. And like we don't have to like pay an engineer, or we don't have to pay like any sort of session players or anything like that is very nice. Yeah. Because in the long term, it's a really good investment. So yeah, pretty crazy mode, but
things just take a long time to make, man. Yeah. Even when you have a whole team, even when you have 5 cameramen, an actual audio engineer, an actual editor too. Yeah. They were still uploading videos that were a year old. Yeah, that's the thing, because it's like it never really gets any easier. You just kind of scale up, and then it ends up getting harder, but you have more help. You know? The only person that does it well is Mr. Beast. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how it's because I don't know how much of a life he has outside of. He got married. Yeah. There we go. Did he? I think I don't know. Maybe. I don't know anything. Maybe just totally made up. But that's cool though. If he did. I think he got married. Congrats, Mr. Beast. I think he put his wife in one of the games, and he said, "If you win, you can marry me." And she had to like go through all the stages and like, that's cool. $1 million or marry me, Mr. Beast. She's like $1 million. What about everybody up to? Nothing really crazy, honestly. We've been filming footage for Park Rangers. Yeah. This is these past 2 weeks you've been filming for your channel. And we picked up a crash symbol for you. Yes. Met Rick Beato. Yeah. Guys, straight up met Rick Beato. We met fucking Walmart Rick Beato. Yeah. It was pretty cool, actually. So basically, I've never had a crash symbol. And I've always... I mean, it's nice to have a crash symbol with your drum kit, kind of completes the kit. But I just have never really wanted to spend money on them because cymbals are expensive as hell. And I saw actually a listing, this guy had just a bunch of drums and cymbals and stuff. There was a listing for an 18-inch Zildjian A medium thin crash. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I was like, looks pretty cool, and I saved it, and I was going to wait until the price dropped a little bit. Evidently, the price dropped, and I was like, I'll give you $100 for the cymbal and the stand, and which is a pretty good deal. Like, those cymbals are pretty nice cymbals. But we got there, and we had to drive like 30 minutes away, basically, into like dirt road country area. This guy's got like classic red barn, like farmhouse type of deal, and we pull up, he's got like chickens outside, he's got like mules and donkeys and everything. And then he had a mammoth mule. No, it was his neighbor. His neighbor had a mammoth mule. First time I've seen one of those. Gigantic. Didn't think it was real. Yeah, it was insane. I just thought it was a horse, like a big horse. And he's like, "You ever seen a mammoth mule?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And then he just points to it, and it's just like this gigantic. It was super far away too, so it was kind of difficult to judge. And then a horse walked next to it, and it was bigger than the horse. Yeah, that was a crazy thing because the horse was like normal sized, but it looked small. But yeah, so this guy just lived like out in the country, and then he was like, "Oh, so you're here to buy some cymbals, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we walk into his like shed, like outdoor garage area, barn thing, and he's just got like a bunch of music gear inside of there. And like when I walked in, I was like, "This is so cool." It was so sick because he's just got like a bunch of little like pieces of keyboards and synths and drums and all kind of stuff everywhere. It was also when we were driving up, we were talking about. Like, this is the dream. Yeah. You know, living out here, having some land. He had chickens. And then we walk into the barn, and then he has a studio there. Yeah. And that's just exactly my dream when I get older. It was so sick. Yeah. So we go in there,
He's got a little drum kit set up and some other like little music stuff here and there. And then he talks our ear off for probably like 2 hours about just everything under the sun. He's talking about musicians and drum companies, and
He was a custom drum maker.
yeah, he makes his own custom drums, or made his own custom drums at one point or another. But yeah, it's pretty insane. He's been in the like music gear selling business for a long time, and he's like played for people and done gigs and all that kind of stuff. So it was cool to talk to him. He had a lot of cool information and cool stories and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was, he was a cool guy. I enjoyed talking to him. But yeah, then I basically how that ended up was I played the cymbal that I wanted, and I didn't really like the way that it sounded, but there was another cymbal that was just like a cracked, like no logo Sabian crash. I think it's probably like a 16 inch crash or something. And I played it, and I was like, I like the way this sounds. It has like a very dark sound to it. And I'm sure you guys will hear it soon on some recording of some kind. But I was like, hey, this one's cool, and it was cheaper. So I bought that one for $60 with the stand, and it was a nice like boom stand and everything. And so I was actually gonna buy that one and the other cymbal. I offered him 100, but he was like, I'll do 120, and I only had 100 on me. So he was like, I'll follow you to an ATM, and I was like, I don't really want to do all that. So yeah, so I bought that cymbal, and now I have a cool little crash cymbal with my drum kit. I think it sounds really good. And the kicker, he gave us free fresh eggs from his chickens,
Good, man.
which is super sick.
They were some good eggs.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, cool experience.
Sounded like Rick Beato. Looked like Rick Beato.
Yeah,
It was pretty crazy.
yeah. He
Talked
was
so
just
much.
so much.
So much. We were both talking about it on the way back. There's so many instances where I wanted to mention something or ask him a question, but I couldn't because I knew it was gonna go extend the conversation by another 20 minutes.
Yeah, there were so many times where I like wanted to say something, but I knew that it would just spiral into a whole other conversation. So I would just kind of like nod and I'll like look out the window, look at some gear.
The funniest thing is that he was just a total old head. And so he mentioned so many names. Like I picked up on a few of them, but a lot of the time it was like, yeah, so Jamie Johnson, y'all heard of the band called The Muffling Foam?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, no. And he's like, okay, so The Muffling Foam, Jamie, he had it. Well, actually, his drummer was Johnny Two Step.
Yeah.
And Johnny used to have this custom drum, and he bought it from his friend Frank. Y'all ever heard of Frank?
Yeah, yeah. The classic. That is like a great example of exactly like the classic old guy talking about music stuff. But I was actually I was happy with myself because there were some names that I knew, and I was keeping up with them pretty well. But every once in a while, he would just throw some like random band or like person I've never heard of. In
Definitely
my
just
entire
a
life.
local guy.
Oh yeah,
There's
for
no
sure.
way we know about this guy.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just some guy that like no one has heard of ever. But yeah, it was cool. He was a cool dude, and
I wonder if he actually is like a local legend within the custom drum scene.
I looked up his name.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because he was like
A lot of times he said,
yeah.
people have called me
He was
famous
like, people
before."
have said I'm famous. They say that guy's famous.
I was eating dinner once and somebody said I was famous.
My wife said I'm famous. But yeah, I looked up his name. He has a LinkedIn profile. But I clicked on the LinkedIn profile, and then LinkedIn was like, you have to sign in to view this. And then I exited out of it because I wasn't going to do that. So yeah, pretty cool experience.
Pretty cool experience. Also, definitely made me think I need to take better care of my ears because like he had that whole setup,
Yeah.
but he said I just can't do anything because my tinnitus.
Yeah, he said he had like really, really bad tinnitus because that was what I think that was the first question we asked him was, do you still play? And 40 minutes later, he was like, well, I played a show down in San Antonio with these guys, and they was just running, but he didn't actually tell Bob that I was actually subbing in for the drums because I knew Bob would want to cancel. You know, he's the bass player and everything. And so it was just like a whole like 45-minute discussion. He's like, oh yeah, so to answer your question, do I play anymore? No, not really. And so yeah, basically he was saying he had really bad tinnitus.
He had some wacky ideas too. He put a projector in a drum, but he was like, but projectors are kind of outdated, so I think I'm gonna make a hologram.
It has to be a hologram. Yeah. It was so funny. He had like this little contraption that was essentially like a piezo pickup that would go under like on your cymbal stand underneath your cymbal to just pick up the sound of the cymbal. And I was impressed by that. There was a few other things that he showed me that I was impressed by, but that one specifically, and I was like, wow, this is very cool. Like I said I had never seen something like that before, and he was like, I'm the idea man. A lot of people have introduced me as the idea man. And I was like, I can tell. So yeah, he's a cool dude.
I mean, I want to be him when I get older.
Oh, me too. But you got to do something too.
I did.
Is it made in Korea?
It is.
That's cool. Korean made guitars are usually really good.
New guitar guys.
New guitar guys. Here it is.
I need to pull up the chats with this individual that I bought my guitar from.
Yeah.
Because this was quite the time. I'm gonna make a video about it, so I'll talk about it there. But we'll probably talk about it more here. So I might actually just put people here instead of vice versa. But I was working out, and I'm addicted to Facebook Marketplace. So between every lift, do a little scrolling. It's better than Instagram.
A couple scrolls.
Better than Instagram.
Yeah, I agree. Actually,
especially when you get a guitar.
It's probably not better than Instagram because it actually causes you to lose money.
Yeah, and it's still the same dopamine circuit of scrolling.
Yeah,
totally. But you get some if you make a snag, it's worth it.
It could be profitable, so that's the upside.
In this video, we're going to be talking about all the money we've spent on music gear, and a lot of the things that I mention, I will have paid so much less than what the thing is actually worth, and that is because I spend so much time on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the only way you're gonna get a snag is if you do it so much. If you do it constantly, it's like with anything in life, just being consistent. You can't just be like, "Oh, I heard you can get good deals on Facebook Marketplace." 99% of the time I'm scrolling, it's just the worst deals ever. So
that's the thing. You also have to know like what you're looking for too, because if you just get on there like for 5 minutes, you're not really gonna see you're not gonna feel out the landscape of like what's available. But like knowing like, okay, I've seen this before. This goes up for like about like $200. Seeing it listed for $100, like okay, that's a really good deal. So knowing like what other people have listed the same items for, or if an item gets listed very often or whatever, like it's good to check often because otherwise you're not going to have like a good gauge for how the market is.
Totally. See a listing for guitar with speaker and chords from I'm not going to say his name. Why would I say his name?
His address too.
Yeah, but it came with a speaker, an amp, and chords,
cable.
Yeah, and then I sent it to you, and you said that you found it as well.
Yeah, I saw it listed before, and I was like, "Wow, that's actually a pretty good deal." I didn't look too closely at it, but I just knew like from the way the guitar looked that it was a nice guitar.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have money to drop on a guitar at the moment.
Also, you that morning you bought the crash cymbal. So you definitely weren't in a position to be buying anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just withdrew $100 from my bank account. So I was like, this is going to financially set me back like a month.
Yeah, exactly. I'll pick it up cash. I'm headed there. We'll probably get there in 50 minutes because it was pretty far away. So I said, could you set it to pending? Because I've been rugged before where I drive like 30 minutes to pick something up and then I get there and it's sold. And that's the worst feeling ever. And then I said, am I good to head over? I'll get $180 out of my account. And he said, hurry up, pedal to the metal. That was the only thing he said.
Hurry up.
So I get there, park outside of his house. I said, here. And then he messages me back and he says, climb on the roof and come down the chimney. Also, doesn't spell it right. It says, climb on the roof and come down the chimney with an I.
Climb on the roof, man. That's so crazy.
No, climb on the roof and come on the chimney.
Oh, yeah. Come down the chimney. Climb on the roof and come down the chimney.
It was also like not the best part of town, but what's just so funny is I get there and he's just blasting worship music.
Yeah.
And it was a total like, hey dude, I'm not going to kill you.
I am not going to kidnap you or anything like that. Listen to the worship music. I'm totally friendly and safe.
Yeah, but I get there, it was just beautiful. And he had an amp, super nice amp too.
Yeah, the amp was a snag. Like honestly, just the amp itself was definitely worth it.
Craziest part of the story though, we'll wrap it up here. I'm leaving. As I'm leaving, a car pulls up and parks in front of his house.
Yeah.
And it was definitely another guy from Facebook.
Oh, yeah. He was going to have you battle that guy.
Yeah.
It's lucky that you got there when you did because you would have been in a brawl to the death.
That would have been awkward if I was like walking out of the house with the guitar and the other guy was walking up. It would if I walked out of the house like a minute later, that would have happened. And that would have been awkward.
Yeah.
And I bet the other guy would have been like, the Sheraton Pro 2s that they're like mass manufacturing go for like 600, but this one was made in the 90s in Korea, and you found a listing that it was like 1200.
Yeah, and there was one from 1995 that they listed for like, I think it was like $1,100, which is pretty absurd. So like this guitar is pretty rare.
And it's sunburst. It's just sunburst and gold plated electronics.
Yeah, the gold hardware is super sick.
So sick. It's sexy. I just need to learn how to play electric guitar now.
Yeah, now I need to learn how to play it.
Yeah. If that other guy walked up to me and he said, "Hey man, I'll take this off your hands for $600," I probably would have agreed.
Yeah,
Because I need money more than I need a guitar.
yeah. I think if I was in the same position and he offered me 600, I would definitely take it.
But the funny thing is, I'm not going to list it for 600. I'm not even going to list it for $1,000.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like once you get your hands on it, you're not getting rid of it now.
Also, the only thing about it, the little knobs are a little screwy.
Yeah, they're kind of crackly,
Mm-hmm.
which you could potentially fix with like some electronics cleaner, but it just kind of depends on what's, it's usable though.
Yeah, for me as a producer, because I use electric guitar in every song, but I just use my awful Fender Squier Strat that's 15 years old. This guitar is even older though, so age doesn't really matter.
True.
It does when it's a bad guitar though. But
Build quality is really the most important thing.
yeah, as a producer, all I'm doing with the guitar is just recording it. It's not like I'm on stage and I have to turn the knobs and I have to switch the pickups in live, because I couldn't do that with that guitar. I just need to find the tone and then I'm set.
Right. I feel like eventually, once you start playing live and stuff, it'll be nice to have that one like maybe fixed up, or you could honestly just maybe like.
I think I'll be on acoustic.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like.
Do you think I should be on electric for Park Rangers?
Well, I don't know. I feel like like sound wise, like volume wise, it'd be nice to have more electric vibe.
Electric's also easier to play than acoustic.
Yeah.
But we write all of our songs on acoustic, but then we mostly record all of our songs on electric.
Yeah, like Safe and Sound is basically. I don't even know if we have acoustic in that song. It's mostly.
I also don't have an electric acoustic.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was.
That wouldn't be
too.
possible.
True. Which you could also put like a pickup in that guitar too, potentially. But yeah, I don't know.
First of all, we need to start playing.
Yeah, we'll figure that out once we actually start playing.
Yeah, we'll figure that out once we start.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, I might cut a bunch of that because that was just a long story. But I got a new guitar.
Yeah, long story long.
Long story long. Got a new guitar. It's
super
awesome.
sick though. Yeah, it plays really nice. It's very, very beautiful guitar.
Got some humbuckers.
Yeah,
Some humbuckers.
Honestly,
Do you have a guitar with humbuckers?
Yeah, I have my OG Yamaha Pacifica has a humbucker in the bridge, and then 2 singles. It's a HSS.
That's pretty sick.
It's very nice because having a humbucker. Actually, I think one of the best type of guitars that you can get, like as a producer, like versatility wise, is a guitar that is a humbucker single because you can get the like typical Strat tone with like the 2-in-1, like in between 2-in-1, and then you can also get like a nice lead sound with the one, and then having just the middle one is really nice too. I like just the middle one for like kind of like emo things. And then you can also, if you want to go like heavier, more rock stuff, you can switch to the humbucker. So.
Yeah, that's why I was disappointed. I was watching a lot of Sheraton Pro 2 videos of the like newer models, and all of them you can split the coil if you pull up on the knobs.
Yeah.
But these, obviously, we tried that and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there might be some other like fancy way to do it, but either way, it still sounds good though. And I think also having the neck pickup on, like, it's obviously still sounds like a humbucker, but it sounds more like lead-esque having the neck pickups, which is nice. So yeah, super nice guitar. I think honestly that's probably one of the, in my opinion, one of the best Facebook Marketplace finds.
You think more than my camcorder?
Yeah, because I think the camcorder, like I've seen that one listed multiple times, but I don't think I've ever seen that guitar listed before.
Yeah, rest in peace to the guy's dad, but he passed away and he played guitar, and
was this guy?
Yeah, the son didn't play guitar, and rest in peace. But that is kind of the best situation.
Yeah,
when you pick up a guitar, any piece of gear is having a person not know.
Yeah,
because that's the same thing with that camcorder. Like that guy just worked at a school and he didn't know, and it feels so wrong, being like, "Oh, you don't know, and you listed this for $80."
Yeah, but also it's like, I think it's not as valuable to them as it is as the money that you're giving them. So it's more useful to them as $60 than it is as a guitar, Yeah. So yeah.
I think somebody looking at this, like zooming out and seeing, my camcorder and this guitar and any of the Facebook Marketplace snags that we've had, they'd think, man, y'all have gotten lucky. But like I said before, we're on Marketplace so much and never seeing anything. And the fact that you saw this guitar too when it was listed 20 minutes ago and I sent it to you means both of us are on this app a lot.
Yeah, very true. We're both just like on that shit. Half the time when you send me something or I send you something, you're like, yeah I saw that.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes ago listed. We're just fucking addicted. Some people scroll on TikTok. We're just constantly on Marketplace.
Man. Marketplace knows my taste better than TikTok does.
Yeah, very true. They know what to show me.
Because sometimes they'll show me something that I didn't even know I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, this is kind of sick.
This would be cool. Yeah. Maybe I do need an overdrive pedal. Yeah, no, Marketplace is sick, man. I love Marketplace.
I love it too.
They take so much of my money.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
Which, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of the monies that we've spent on music gear, which I mean, it's going to be fun because I think people have always asked me this question. So having like a full dedicated podcast about it is going to be a blast. But before we get into that, let's talk about music.
Okay, what have I been listening to, you ask? Well, the first thing, I have a little anecdote to share that I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and I had never heard this story, but apparently the lead singer of the Spin Doctors, who they have like one song that like people know, it's
Are they a one-hit wonder?
I don't want to say that.
Yeah. Never say that about anybody.
I don't want to say that, but there's one song that's very popular of theirs. That's like the only song that I knew. But apparently when I was like 1 or 2 years old, my mom and I, and maybe like my aunt was there or something too. We were at like the Chicago like blues festival or something, and the Spin Doctors were there, and apparently the lead singer like held me and like just absolutely loved me, and I was like playing around with him and like running around and everything. And so like my mom also had like, she didn't have anything on her, but she's like, oh, I should probably like get this guy's autograph or whatever. She had a $10 bill on her, and he signed the $10 bill.
What?
And that was the autograph.
You still have it?
No, she spent it like a few years ago or whatever. But
really,
yeah,
that's hilarious.
But yeah, pretty crazy. Apparently the lead singer of the Spin Doctors held me when I was a little baby.
That is wild.
Yeah, I know. Pretty insane to think about. Cool though. But it's crazy that I didn't know that story until like a couple weeks ago, or like a week ago. But yeah, so I liked that song because apparently
he probably
have it liked.
Breathed life into you. He
Probably.
said, you will be a musical child.
Yeah.
It's like the Dementors in Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the opposite, they're blowing into you.
Yeah, he put the musical spirit into me. But yeah, so I saved that song, but that doesn't really count. Another song that I found that I liked a lot is called Wound by a band called Slow Joy. Really good song. I like that. And there's another one that I found, a song called Plum by a band called Widow's Peak.
Widow's Peak, I think I might have heard of them.
Yeah, you probably have. They have like the type of vibe that you like when you're like, okay, I like this song. This song's good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like typical like indie drums. And, it's like an indie band. They're good though. The Slow Joy is more like kind of emo, like Narrowhead kind of vibe to them.
You find these from playlist?
No, I don't know how I found these. Maybe I think it was Instagram. Maybe like playing in a video, or like there might have been an ad.
That's cool.
I think the Slow Joy one might have been an ad that I saw. So effective marketing.
Shouts out. Hopefully somebody says that at Parkland or for anytime.
Yep.
Loving Bon Iver's album. Loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it. Yeah. I first listen wasn't too crazy. Second listen, big fan of it. Third listen, even bigger fan. And I remember I told you, and I said it takes a few listens, and then I realized that's usually a bad album.
Yeah.
If you have to tell somebody that.
That's usually what I say when my favorite artist drops an album and it's horrible, but I have to justify it because they're my favorite artist.
Guys, it has to be good because it's Bon Iver.
Yeah, I wasn't really too crazy about the singles that he dropped off of it, but you're playing some of it earlier, and the couple of the songs that I heard sounded pretty good.
Dude, there's some good... You need to listen to it. There's some good songs, and it makes... Because I was the same way. I didn't really like the singles. It makes the singles... They have a home now. Please listen to it, Felix.
It's so good, man. You should listen to it because it's actually.
Look, I added all these songs.
That's a lot.
And I have the best taste in the world. Finn Wolfhard. I've talked about him before. He dropped another single off the upcoming album, Like It Even More. More of an emo vibe. This one.
Yeah. It was cool. I like
it. Very cool, kind of like a Fog Lake-esque vibe.
Yeah.
And hopefully the album's full of that. One of my favorite bands, Husbands from OKC, dropped a new single, Santa Ana. That's a banger. And then I'll drop you with Glow from Namino. It's got a nice, it's kind of like a...
You sent that to me.
Yeah.
That was cool. Made me
like
want to make some like house music.
Saying, dude, it's good.
Yeah.
It had some sick drops. It also had a lot of cool breakdowns, drum breakdowns.
Yeah.
Which was sick.
Yeah, it was super cool. I like that.
So, y'all should check out all that music because we know everything music related, expanding the universe.
And also not music related. I know everything. Name 2 numbers.
I know everything, but I just decide to be broke.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I know everything besides how to make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So we pretty much know basically everything. All this stuff that you need to know.
We know it's healthy to subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so check it. Some Underbelly. You ever watch Underbelly? Okay, so check it.
Nope, never heard that.
Let us know if you're an Underbelly fan. There's no reason you should still be watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to go questions now from you, Slodger.
Yeah.
I think.
Questions.
So as you know, guys, ask us questions in the Discord and we answer them, and we are the #1 place to get your questions answered, music or non-music related.
Yeah. You can't get your questions answered really as good as you can here anywhere else. So yeah, guys, please go to the Discord.
Please, we need more questions.
Go to the Ask Us Questions section in the Discord and ask us some questions. And really anything you've been wondering. How are babies made? If you're wondering that, we'll go over that in the next episode.
Go over that.
Or other music questions. Like, how do I make a song? Music. How to make a song? Music, question mark. Ask that too.
Yeah, we'll answer that one.
So yeah. Anyways, so we got some questions up in here today for you guys. What are your questions that you got?
Uptown.
Funk you up. Uptown, funk you up.
Uptown says, how many money do you spend on music?
How many money? How many money do I spend on music? Probably too much.
Way too much. I mean, I just bought this guitar. Didn't need one. Didn't need it. Get it out of here.
Get it out of here.
I need to eat. Go to grocery store.
I'm not going to eat for the next 2 weeks.
This is for my Sheraton Pro. This is for my Sheraton Pro.
Yeah.
I'm eating crackers.
Yeah.
This is for my Sheraton.
Eating fucking saltines.
I'm not even eating it. I'm feeding it to the guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're probably not going to eat for the next couple weeks because we just spent all our money on music stuff. So how much money do I spend? Way too much. But realistically, like, what else am I going to spend my money on?
Exactly.
Music is like, it's my life, man. It's everything to me. So naturally, I'm going to spend some money on that.
Hopefully, I'll spend a lot of money on that and not on getting some double lemon drops at the bar.
But hey, sometimes you spend money on that too.
Sometimes you do that, but my financial situation probably can go to the bar maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's the limit.
Twice a year to the bar.
Yeah. I just go to the bar and make other people buy me drinks.
I just put makeup on.
Yeah. I just pretend to be a chick and have dudes buy me drinks. That's kind of what I do. That's kind of my thing.
Kind of my thing. So I'll kick us off here. I made a little spreadsheet.
Yeah. So specifically, how many money do we spend?
Let's start with plugins.
Okay.
I've spent $2,000 on plugins.
That's crazy.
Is that higher or lower than you?
I have not spent that much on plugins. I have always been like free plugin guy.
Yeah.
So I think
I've realized I'm not that. I used to think that, and then I saw $2,000.
that's actually an insane amount.
You want to hear the breakdown?
Yeah.
So the Isotope Master bundle, I have all the Isotope Master bundles, and that's $500.
Yeah.
And I remember buying that, and that was like a huge purchase.
Yeah.
Some of these things also, I bought that I think 3 years ago. Yeah. It's $500 right now. Might have been like $300 back then.
True. Yeah.
So some of these numbers might be a little off. Most of them are spot on because I've kept track of all my finances, and I just went through. There's a little tab on my expenses every month where it's work purchases. Right. So I went through every single month from 2021. I also didn't include anything from below 2021. Yeah. So there's things that I haven't put in here, but from 2021 to current, every single work purchase. So I think I've probably listed a lot more things than you did. But
yeah, I didn't get out that autistic. I just kind of looked around my room and like figured out what was there.
Yeah, I did the same thing, and then I started doing this, and I'm glad I did it because it helps you zoom out, and it helps me realize, I can charge this person $150 to mix their song. Because I've spent $2,000 just on plugins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's impressive. I think my number for plugins is probably around, I would estimate like $300 to $400. Because I think the most expensive plugins that I've bought are like Analog Lab, and even that I bought on sale. So I bought it for $100, but it's usually $200. I don't know what the going rate of it is now, but like I bought it for $100, and then I bought Purity, which is like $50, and then all of the other various like assorted plugins. Like I brought that the plugin I was just talking about, the JMP amp simulator plugin. I think that's like $50, so that's probably like $200 right there. And then like all the other miscellaneous, like the Air music technology, like expand. Those are pretty cheap. So like those little ones and that, like stuff like that. So I would say probably around like 400.
So you've done sponsorships with Waves.
Yeah.
So you have their plugins. I did sponsorship with Analog with Arturia. So I have Analog Lab for free.
Yeah.
So there's stuff between both of us that like I would have listed $400 for Analog Lab or whatever it is, but I have it for free, so I didn't list it.
I mean, I would list like fucking $10,000 if I listed every Waves plugin.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Those plugins are mad expensive, and they're also really good, but...
Like, I have spent a lot of money on Waves plugins.
Yeah, they're really good plugins. So, I mean, having all those is definitely like... I'm very thankful to have all those plugins. But also, like, it's nice to just not use them sometimes and use other random shit. Because, I mean, just today I made a song where I used a bunch of free plugins that I found instead of using my normal Wave stuff.
Yeah.
And like I always love when people are like, I made this using free plugins. It's like, dude, I really don't give a shit. Because like it doesn't really fucking matter what plugins you use. Like you can use whatever plugins. There's so many free alternatives out there. Like I was realizing that recently. That's is like point. There's a free alternative to literally everything now. Like I was watching a guitar tone video, and this guy was talking about how like this thing where you have like an overdrive, or not an overdrive, it's like a tube screamer pedal, and you run it into a clean amp, and you get this really nice like kind of shoegazy guitar tone. And I was like, I can look up like a tube screamer plugin, and I just found a free one, and I just use that, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Anyways, sorry for the tangent there, but
no, I mean that's what we're getting into all the nitty gritties.
Yeah, nitty gritty paperwork and everything.
No, I totally agree, man. I mean, like you said, when people said I made this using free plugins, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good free plugins. Also, all the stock plugins. I made so many videos where it's like mixing my vocals just with stock plugins, and you can totally do it. So
totally. I mean, it's still a fucking compressor is a compressor. Yeah. Like some things have like certain coloration and certain ways that it like shapes the transients and stuff, but like no one really gives a fuck. Like,
I mean, as someone who has spent $2,000 on plugins, I can't fully...
You're kind of inclined to say that they do. That is important.
Yeah, but I think free plugins takes you to 70% good. Yeah. And then to get from 70 to 90, it is nice having Soothe. Like,
yeah, I think realistically, like mastering plugins are kind of the thing that you want to spend money on.
Yeah.
Like you don't really have to spend money on like much else, but I think like spending money on Isotope or whatever other thing that people like master with. Isotope is kind of the common one, but like spending money on some mastering plugins is probably the most important thing because there's not a whole lot of free alternatives for those out there.
Yeah, don't use DistroKid's. Yeah. Hey, this is your sound with
Mixia.
Mixia. Yeah. So Isotope Master Bundle was $500. Melodyne was $300.
Yeah.
Soothe.
See, I don't have Melodyne or Soothe, or I don't have.
I forgot Soothe was so expensive, $240.
That's insane.
I spent that much on Soothe, but dude, Soothe might be my favorite plugin.
Yeah, it's nice.
Might be my favorite plugin. Antares Autotune. This was when I used Autotune. $200. Pro Q3.
That's crazy.
$179.
I'm glad I never spent money on Autotune.
Yeah. And I also bought the wrong one.
Did you?
I bought the one where it's like, I should have bought the basic one, but I spent I think $100 more to get their EFX Pro, and it's like, this is robot voice.
Yeah.
We threw a high cut and a low cut on your vocals.
Yeah.
And it's like, I should not have spent that much more.
Just a straight up scam.
Yeah, it was kind of a scam. But, so I'm going to go to the bottom of the list of cheap plugins that I think bang for your buck. Just totally worth it. Vintage Verb, that's $40. Been using that for so long.
Yeah, what is the company? Is it Valhalla? Or? Yeah, Valhalla plugins are very, very nice.
Yeah. Valhalla. And then, yeah, just a lot of Waves plugins. Waves Vocal Writer, that's $40. But you can get all of these things Black Friday and not spend
that's the time to do it.
Spent. Yeah.
That's what I always do. If I'm ever buying plugins, it's always Black Friday sales.
Meter plugs, loudness meter, $50.
Yeah, I just use the
Which I just don't think I use that. I think I use the free one. I
I
use Julian.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, Julian's free.
Yeah, it's either Julian. No, actually, I got one that I use because I got it through a plugin boutique deal. So it was like if you buy a couple plugins, they give you this one for free, and it's like Butte loudness meter or something, and it works fine. They're all the fucking same. Like
I need to check that
but
out.
the Julian one is free, so yeah, just fucking use that one. Honestly, quick free plugin shout out. I was just talking to you about this, but the Analog Obsession plugins are all incredible. I think it's like one dude who just makes all these plugins.
I don't even know what those are.
He just makes like emulations of like Neve preamps and like old like DBX compressors and LA-76 compressors, and he just makes them for free. And I think they're like on his Patreon. It's kind of like a pay what you kind of want to pay thing.
Question.
Huh?
What do you put in there whenever you see that? And it says
0.
Yeah, it says you can do 0.
Yeah. Oh, I will do 0.
I'm right there with you. I feel bad about it. Sometimes I've done this once with a creator I like. I bought 3 other things for free. The 4th one, I was like, I'll give you $2. I think I gave him $2.
That's respect.
But because Gumroad does that a lot. Have you ever bought a plugin from Gumroad?
I recognize the name. I don't know if I probably have like 1 or 2 plugins.
Yeah, they do that, and they're like, buy me a coffee. You can get this for free, but you can also buy me a coffee.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah, there's another plugin company that does that. And it's like, if you say 0, a warning thing pops up and it says, hey, just a quick reminder, we are going to give you this for free, but technically you're stealing from us.
Yeah. Really?
They literally said that, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But they let you do it. But it's pretty cool, actually. They say, we don't want anybody else doing online piracy with our plugins. And we know that so many other people do that. So we want to not give y'all any viruses if you try to get these for free elsewhere.
Yeah, true.
So if you say I don't want to pay any money, they say that. They say, hey, we're giving you this for free because we don't want any more piracy stuff. But technically, this is illegal.
That's a good way to lose money, I think.
Yeah, because I haven't paid them any money.
No, hell no. But yeah, I mean, if I have the option to not pay you money, I'm gonna not pay you money.
And it's also,
as unfortunate as it is, that's the state I'm in right now.
Also, if musicians, that's the group of people that are gonna say yes, please.
Yeah, dude. I mean, other than like the one guy who's like an actual like famous engineer who buys your plugins, that's like you're probably one sale that you get like once every 6 years.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to instruments. Instrument total number I've spent is 1,500.
Okay.
1,434.49. I'm curious if you've spent more money.
I don't really have it sectioned off that much, but I think you'll be surprised at my number.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, dude. This is also with us getting good deals.
Exactly, yeah.
I will say, my Alvarez acoustic, I didn't get that on Marketplace. I went with a friend who knew guitars. We actually went to a guitar shop. I bought that and a hard shell case, which is a really nice case, and I spent $400, $420 on that.
For the case and everything, too?
For the guitar and the case, yeah.
That's nice. Let me see if I can get a rough estimate of mine. Mine's hard because I also have drum stuff. I'll do the breakdown. I don't have that many items on there, so you do your breakdown and then I'll do
Okay. That's good.
We go one by one.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up. Dude, the funny thing is,
what are a few of the instrument things?
I did hierarchy and
from like most expensive, least expensive.
Yeah, and some listings that are on. This is 6th most expensive was the Picasso bow that I bought for that video. That is just the worst thing ever. I bought it from an Instagram ad.
Holy shit.
And then like 5 more down below that is the Soundstone, which is like that replication of the Ebo, which I should have got an Ebo. Because the Ebo is only like $100, I think, but the Soundstone was the Instagram version of it. It was $40. Don't recommend that. Say that in the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Alvarez was $420. The Epiphone.
That's your most expensive?
Yeah. Most expensive instrument purchase of all time. $420. Blaze it up, guys. Sheraton Pro. Just bought that. $180. That's number 2. And then number 3 is I spent $150 taking this guitar to a guy who tuned it up. So he put a lot of work into this guitar, which I actually forgot I did that.
Yeah.
So technically I've spent like $500 on that guitar.
Yeah.
But that was cool. taking that in, and it definitely played a lot better once I got that guitar amp for 150.
Yeah, getting
mandolin
your guitar
100.
like professionally set up,
Yeah.
especially with an acoustic, is really nice because I feel like with acoustic you can't like just lower the bridge with a screwdriver the way you can an electric. Like you have to actually sand down the saddle and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and it's like I don't know if I could mess that up, So taking it to an actual guy is probably a smart idea.
Yeah, I remember I got new like bridge pins. I got a new bridge. I got a lot of new stuff that I had to order on Amazon, and then I gave it to him because he gave me a rundown. He's like, I think you should do this, and he tuned it up nicely. So, yeah. So a lot of that. Ukulele was like 45, but yeah, I've got a good amount of instruments. Number 3 is, so out of all of them, plugins I spent the most. Then it goes, plugins I spent the most. Then right under that is just studio stuff, money that I've spent on my studio. So my monitors, I now have different monitors because Wesley got me these for free, and I sold my NTKs.
Yeah.
Oh no, my KRK Rokits, I spent $300 on those, but my microphone, that's my most expensive studio purchase, $530 on that.
Yeah,
which I forget that I spent so much money on that microphone.
that's an expensive microphone.
I mean, I love it.
Also just for us to use like fucking these microphones on half of our recordings anyways.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I should have said actually that's not music. But next episode I'll be trying out that new MV7.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Sure.
Using that Shure.
I saw a reel of somebody using that.
Really?
To record birds.
That's sick. I've spent $250 on acoustic foam.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's absurd actually.
And it's really not that much. Acoustic foam.
Yeah, acoustic foam for some reason is so expensive.
It is so expensive.
I actually am so glad that I bought the acoustic foam for this room on Temu, because I got it I forgot about that actually, that I spent that, but like all those things, honestly, as I'm thinking about like small little things that I've forgotten to add up, like that's probably one of them.
Yeah.
But I spent like I think $20 on that, and I got like a good.
That's so
bit of
nice,
acoustic
man.
foam.
This is good acoustic foam. This is like really thick, and this was nice. But the funny thing is, when you're adding acoustic foam to the list, you also have to add the command strips. $250 for the acoustic foam, $200 for the command strips. I spent $200 on command strips.
Crazy.
I mean, look how much I had to use.
Yeah. See, the hack that I found is to not use command strips and to just use double-sided Scotch tape. And that works way better because the command strips.
That could have saved me $200.
Dude, I spent like $10 for 2 rolls of the double-sided tape, and it's like double-sided Scotch mounting tape. And I got command strips that were just normal command strips, or they might have been off-brand ones, but either way, like when I have command strips, a lot of times it'll fall off. Like it'll fall off the wall. Because it's just like the changes in humidity or whatever. Like when you got the fan on, it kind of like blows them off. But I've never had a single acoustic foam panel fall with the mounting tape.
Really?
Yeah. So
yeah, I have a whole process with putting them on here, and it takes a long time. So I used to have them just fall off the foam because it's hard to put it on the foam, especially if you wash it and it's a little wet. So that was a whole process. Going through this list was fun because it took me back to like setting up the studio and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
DT770s, $170 on those. My Euphoria interface right here, spent $100 on that. And also that Evo, got that one for free because it's a sponsored video. I love that interface. I need to make a video on that because I've been using it for so long, and I bought 2 other interfaces since then, thinking I would replace it because this has more inputs. Yeah. But this is just so easy, so simple to use. Yeah. I love it.
We should definitely both make a studio setup video.
Yeah.
Studio tour.
We haven't done that.
Yeah. I definitely want to at some point make that.
Yeah. Then a bunch of small little things, mic cables and mic stands. So that all adds up to $2,060 for studio stuff. And then miscellaneous things, like these things you definitely didn't list, but Dropbox. I use that for music.
I was thinking about listing those, but I didn't because I wasn't going to go through my entire history of Dropbox and Spotify and all that kind of shit.
Again, I have autism, so that's why I did it. But Dropbox, $520 for the past 4 years.
Insane.
Just for using Dropbox. DistroKid, $92. Splice, I had that from 2022 to 2023, $160.
You fucking pay for your DistroKid?
Mm-hmm.
I have mine for free.
Might need to email them.
Yeah. That's crazy. I thought you had done sponsored stuff with them before.
They never gave me a free account.
What the fuck?
They did upgrade my account.
Yeah.
They upgraded it. I'm paying for the standard. Like I pay them it's $20 a year.
Yeah,
it's like not that big of a deal.
True,
But
it's negligible.
yeah, I paid $20 a year for the very basic, but they gave me a bunch of. They gave me like 20 artist slots, which is awesome.
That is nice. That's crazy though. They fucking gave me a free.
That's hilarious.
Actually, to be honest, when I did the DistroKid sponsorship, I was still using LMS. Like I think I have to be like probably one of the first people that they did a sponsorship with.
Yeah.
Which is pretty insane because I remember when they first sent me an email, I was like, DistroKid, that's like such a weird name. Like, what even is this? And then the way that they described it was like, yeah, it's like you can upload your music onto.
So you didn't know about them
services.
when you got emailed?
No, it wasn't.
That's
It wasn't
cool.
a popular thing at all.
Yeah.
Like it was. I think honestly, they probably had like 10,000, 20,000 like Instagram followers.
Really?
Maybe, when I first did the deal with them, and I was like, this is cool. I think I probably did the video for like $100 or something.
Yeah.
But they were like, yeah, we'll give you a free account and everything, and I was like, that's cool.
That's sick.
So yeah, it was crazy because I think also once they started doing better, because I did 2 videos with them at one
I've
point
done 2 as well.
Yeah, at one point it was like later on down the line they reached out to me again, but they raised their like commission fee at one point. Like I think at first it was like $5 per sign up, and then they raised it to like 15 once they started doing better, which is kind of cool.
So total, adding up Ableton, because I forgot about Ableton, that's $1,500, $1,900, $2,000. So I've spent $8,810.73 on music gear.
73 cents is important too. Yeah, that's pretty insane. Mine is not as meticulous detail, but it's all right. So I'll go through. The most expensive thing that I've spent money on is my bass guitar, which I spent $320 for that guitar, that was probably the biggest purchase that I've made, I think.
I remember when you made that purchase, how much of a big deal it was.
Yeah, because it was like, honestly, I don't really know what compelled me, because I'm not even really like a bass player. The fact that like my most expensive guitar is a bass guitar is kind of funny. Like obviously, I think overall I've spent probably the most money on my drum kit, like just in general.
Yeah.
But for like one thing, like a one-off thing, the bass guitar is the most expensive, and it's a really nice bass guitar. I
love your bass.
It's probably one of my favorite guitars that I own, just because it's incredible. But that was the most expensive. Let's see. Plugins, I kind of estimated the plugins around like $400. So I think it's probably around like $400 or $500 or so. Let's see. I have like a random section, which is just, I said like $200, but that's probably pretty conservative. It's probably a little bit more. It's probably upwards of like $500 when I factor in all of the like microphone stands and cables.
Yeah,
and all
you have
the,
a lot of
microphones,
microphones,
shit like that. Yeah, I do. And also, I don't know if I factored in oh no, I did factor in microphones. All of my microphones added up, I think, is probably around probably like 300. I have 200 written down here, but it's probably around like 300 or 400. Because I have my SM57, which is 100. But even that, dude, like I just am so like the biggest deal guy ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that SM57 I bought partially with gift cards that I had gotten from like my birthday when I was younger. Like I would just go through like, oh, I had saved up like a $20 Target gift card. Like I have a couple of these. Let me just spend that, and then like only really pay like $30 of my own money to get the like that's what I did with my steel string or pedal steel guitar. That guitar is like probably $100, like maybe like $80 to $100. I only think I spent like $10-20 on it because I did like that. So there's a lot of little things like that I just like am the biggest deal finder ever. My drum kit was 100. The guitar that I have, the new one, is 100. 80 for the 12 string, 80 for the acoustic guitar. Cymbals is really the most expensive thing. I spent 130. I think it was 130 or maybe 140 for my ride cymbal, which that honestly is probably like the biggest snag. Yeah, because that's a really rare cymbal, and the guy who I bought it from like barely spoke any English and didn't even know what the hell it was.
That's funny.
But yeah, I went to go pick that up with my sister, and then I found out later. I found it a long time later actually that it's like, so it's an early K heavy ride, which they're really hard to come by. Like just heavy rides in general, because they kind of stopped making heavy rides. It's also a 22-inch, which like is pretty big for a ride cymbal, but it's got a great sound and I really like it. And it's kind of become like a pretty big part of my drum sound as well. But I saw like there's not really a whole lot of listings, but I saw maybe some eBay like sold listings from a few years ago that were sold for like 600 or so. So buying it for like 130, selling it for 600 is
snag.
Pretty nice. But then my hi-hats, I spent 200 on my hi-hats.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure 200, maybe a little bit less. But I bought them at a Sam Ash that was going out of business. I went with my little brother and bought those. I actually wasn't even planning on buying hi-hats, but I was like, fuck it, we're gonna buy these. So I got the hi-hats then. I think they were 200. Guitar pedals, I said about probably like $50 to like $75 because I have a lot of just like cheap, very cheapo pedals. My MIDI keyboard, 100, I think. Headphones, we have the same headphones, so like whatever that is, 170. I had it down as 130 right here because I think that's maybe the price of them now, or maybe I was just estimating. My audio interface, I bought it for 150, which even that is like cheap for what it actually goes for. My new cymbal, 60. So basically all comes out to like around 2,500 ish. That's like basically all I spent.
Was that low? Was that surprised you?
Well, fucking compared to your number, it's crazy low.
Yeah.
But also like the plugins thing, I've never really spent that much money on plugins, and it makes sense that you have all the plugins because
dude, it's
doing the mixing thing.
Yeah, the mixing thing, but I think mainly it's vocals.
I don't have Melodyne or anything.
You don't need Melodyne. You don't need like a
Autotune.
Yeah, you don't need Soothe. The main reason I use Soothe is because I want to dynamically suppress the beat to the vocals.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I spent so much money on mixing on plugins because for a chapter in Nashville, my main money-making gig was mixing for people.
Right.
Nowadays, I don't get any clients, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I never talk about it. So, like,
true.
if you don't market it, nobody's going to know.
Yeah.
So, guys, if y'all need a song mixed, go to zolstore.com.
Yeah.
But that was my main way I made money.
Right.
So, I bought a bunch of plugins while I was doing, like, somebody would pay me $150 for a mix, and then I'd pay, like, $50 to get this plugin because I'd be, like, reinvesting into the...
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I definitely spent a little more time on mine. I bet you could find a lot more things that you've spent over the time.
Realistically, I think a more close estimate would probably be around like maybe 3,200 ish. Like it's probably anywhere from like 2,800 to like 3,500 is probably the range. But there's like I said, I'm just such a deal guy.
Yeah.
To where like if you add up like the actual value of all the stuff that I've bought, it's probably like around close to your number.
Yeah.
Like it's probably around like 8,000 because adding up, I mean, a lot of the things, the actual resale value is like double what I actually paid for it, if not even more than double sometimes. So, I just am such a, there's got to be a word for it. Some word. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just such a big deal guy that
Thrifter.
I'm just a thrifter. I'm a thrifter. So yeah, that's my number. A lot lower. It was just surprising.
Yeah. I think mine was about where I thought it would be. A number that we need to also mention, well, it isn't a number, is the amount of money we haven't spent because of music. Because we never eat out. We never go out to eat. We never go out to the bars. We don't have a lot of fun. We don't drink.
Yeah.
All of these things. It's like all of the money that we don't spend on a month-to-month basis because we want to do music full-time is so much higher than the money we've actually spent to make music.
Yeah, I think it's like all of these musical purchases have been funded by the fact that we don't spend our money on really much else. So, yeah, that's the vibe. Music, money, it's a lot of monies.
It takes a lot of money. It doesn't actually.
Well, that's
but
the
does
thing.
it? I've spent so much money. Can I say that anymore?
Yeah.
Can I be like, you don't need money to make music?
Yeah.
I think this is what I'll say.
Today we're going to be talking about why gear doesn't matter.
Exactly. I've spent $8,000 on music gear.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. No, I don't like it when people say that. I like to make, I hate saying music at my level because like I don't make that, it's not amazing music, but I am confident in saying like it sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds like professional. I like the production. I like the mixing.
Yeah, I mean, you're making music that you're satisfied with, which is like something a lot
Yeah.
of people can't say.
I think to make that music, it takes some money. But there's been a lot of purchases I've made that I shouldn't have made.
Mhm.
I should have bought this other mic. That was a
Yeah.
budget-friendly version of this thing, and I wasted money on that. Or I spent too much money on this acoustic guitar. I don't think so. That's my favorite instrument here.
Yeah.
But it's like, also, hey, didn't need to buy this guitar.
Mhm.
Like I spend so much money on music, not because I need to, but because it is all I think about.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend my money on music, also tax write-offs. I would rather spend my money on music than anything else.
Yeah, and it's also like it's kind of what makes you happy too. Like I think like anytime people complain about like, oh, you spend too much money on this thing or that thing or whatever, it's like, dude, I'm spending my money, which is like not even a real thing. Like money is just like a fabricated social construct, on like the stuff that is gonna like bring me joy. And so like if it brings me joy to like buy a new new cymbal for my drum kit, like I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna be happy playing it. And same thing with like buying a new guitar. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing that new guitar and like plugging it into my new amp and like jamming out and stuff. It's like that's what's gonna make you fulfilled and happy. And like saying like, oh, like money can't buy happiness. Like very true. Like money can't buy happiness for sure. But like if you have money, you don't want to die with all your money.
Yeah.
So you might as well spend it on the thing that's gonna make you happy while you're alive. You know.
Yeah.
And like if you can get a cool guitar out of it, like that's cool. It's like it's part of. It's also like it's what we do for a living, but it's also like a hobby as well. Like it's I think in my opinion it's a hobby of mine that like I collect like music gear.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
I think that's what I can say is definitely a hobby of mine, and like I just am kind of a nerd about music gear in general. So yeah, but I think also that for me, that's one thing I really can't say that I like. There's a lot of things that I shouldn't have spent money on. There's some things that like I shouldn't have spent money on in hindsight now because I don't really use them. Like certain plugins I don't really get a whole lot of use out of or whatever.
Yeah, plugins is big for me. I don't use half of the plugins. But I
Yeah.
will say they kind of led me to where I
True.
am. So like I used RC20 for a year.
Oh yeah,
Because
true.
that helped me a
I've
bunch.
RC20
I
too.
used this reverb for a year because it led me
Yeah.
to Valhalla. I used this compressor for a year.
Yeah. Realistically, my plugin number is probably a lot higher now that I'm thinking about it because I bought RC20, I bought XO, which is a fucking worst plugin I could have ever bought.
What is XO?
XO is a plugin that
Is it OTT? Is that
No. OTT is free, I think.
Okay.
But XO is a plugin where it takes all of the samples that you have on your computer, like all of your drum sounds and stuff, and then organizes them like sonically so that like it makes this like map of like these are all snare sounds, these are all kick sounds, these are all hi-hat sounds, and you can just click through and
That's cool.
it'll have it's cool.
not worth it?
Not fucking worth it because I used it maybe twice. It's so weird like to try to integrate that into your workflow.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to integrate it into my workflow because I was like, I spent like fucking $100 on this
Really?
thing. Like, I want to make sure that I actually use it.
Yeah.
And it was just so inconvenient. Like, it just kind of took a long time to load because I had so many samples. And I would just kind of click through, and it was just like, I don't know. It was cool, and it looks cool. It's a really cool looking plugin, but I just literally never use it. I only use it like maybe twice. So thinking about that, like as I think about more,
Yeah,
plugins,
RC20 is 100 too. So there's
Yeah.
definitely some plugins you haven't mentioned.
Totally, yeah. So it's that number's probably a lot higher for that reason. But thinking about it, there's not a whole lot of things that like I really regret. Like I never like bought like made a huge purchase on like a guitar that like, oh man, this is so expensive and I never play it, or I shouldn't, have bought this or whatever. I can't really say that because I so selectively buy things. I don't really like frivolously spend. I think the most frivolous purchase that I've ever made probably was that bass guitar. Like I probably didn't need to spend $320, but like that was a moment where I was like, I have the money and I want a Fender guitar, so I'm gonna buy this thing.
Yeah.
Which that was a great experience too, because I bought that right before I went to the Far Caspian concert. So I went like to the city, went to this guy's house. He was like classic, like just indie guy.
Really?
It was like he got the big thick rim glasses. He got the like the
Yeah.
fisherman beanie that like doesn't even go near his ears at all. He's got like the tight t-shirt and the jeans that are like super fucking flooded and
Yeah.
just classic indie guy in a band on the weekends kind of thing. But yeah, I bought that from him and then just went to the Far Caspian concert after, which is super cool. So it was a good experience. And I'm totally glad that I bought that guitar because I use it all the time. That's my bass guitar, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just what we love doing, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Yeah. My number's pretty high, and seeing it makes me think, should I have done all these things? Because currently I'm living paycheck to paycheck and budgeting everything I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, looking at my bank account now, that'd be nice to have $7,000 in it.
Yeah. But also the thing is that I think about, and I thought about this recently, is that when you buy like plugins or whatever, that's kind of like money down the drain, because like if they're plugins that you end up not using, you can't you can't sell the plugin back. You can't be like, hey, XLN Audio, can I get a fucking refund 3 years later after I bought this?
Yeah.
But like when you buy music gear, it's an investment, you know, like you're increasing your net worth by doing that, because like this guitar, if at any point you're like, okay, I need money right now,
I'm there.
you could sell that for $1,200.
I should do that right now.
Yeah, right now. But no, like when you buy like a physical piece of gear and something that's actually like worth it and like something that's valuable, you're adding to your net worth and not like taking on a liability or whatever.
Yeah, it is true.
So I think that's why it's so much, for me at least, so much more valuable to spend your money on actual physical musical items rather than like plugins at this point. Because I mean, well, also just as you make music more, you develop your style and you change the kind of the way you make music. But as I've gotten more like just older, and just the type of music that I make has changed, I've just gone so much more into like the live, real physical gear rather than being in the computer
exactly thing. If I started with that, I wouldn't have spent so much money on plugins. But like I said earlier, I mean, I didn't start off with the sound I have right now. I also didn't start off with the skill level I had right now. If I bought Soothe or if I bought Melodyne when I first started making music, I would have had no clue how to use those plugins.
Exactly.
But I think also like Melodyne, that's a skill, is using Melodyne, because it's a completely another DAW.
Right.
And I've used it for so long that I can move around Melodyne just as quick as I can move around Ableton.
Right.
So that purchase, was so worth it. It was $300, so worth it. Melodyne I recommend that to everybody if they have the money. But when I bought that, it was like, you know, okay, I have $500. I'm gonna buy this plugin because this guy says that he wants me to mix his album, and he's gonna give me like $500, and then I'll have $800, and then I just need 2 weeks to make another $200 so I can pay rent.
Yeah.
And like I spent the money and I made that kind of risk. So these things I just accumulated over time, and every single purchase was a big purchase. And looking at it now, I think to myself, I am a materialist. I didn't think I was such of a materialist, but this has been 5 years in the making, slowly collecting these items.
And it's literally like your job. So
yeah, that is a good point.
You're not I mean, you're obviously, that's the weird kind of crossover, is that we're spending money on something that we absolutely love doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. It is our job. So like,
but
these are work purchases. These are assets rather than like, I've put $7,000 down the drain.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be like looking at like a fucking school teacher and be like, oh, you bought like posters for your classroom and like decorations. Like, you're such a materialist, you know? Like, it's the same way with us. Like, we're like, you know, even if like we buy like stuff for the background of videos, like this fucking tape machine hasn't been used like ever, but you know, we bought it because like it looks cool back here, and like a lot of the stuff like that. Like, it's also a work purchase. It's for like the home studio and that kind of thing. And also when you have like, I'm sure at some point we'll have a separate office where we have a full-on studio that we can go to, like a cool like professional studio setup, and we'll buy like a couch for that thing, and we'll buy like all this stuff for that. So like there's purchases that you have to make when you're doing any job, and ours just happens to be something that we also love doing. So it's kind of a blessing.
Yeah, let us know. I think it's a fun exercise. Y'all should go through all the purchases you've made.
Yeah.
Hopefully you do keep track of all your finances, especially if you want to make music your living. Get in the habit of doing that, because it will help you a lot.
Yep. So you can see it going, woo.
Exactly. Yeah. Great question. Uptown.
Uptown, funk you up.
You already did that, man.
Uptown, funk it up.
Dude, you already did that, man. I'm about to hit 5 million views on my YouTube channel.
That's sick.
Pretty cool.
Oh yeah. I just hit 20 million recently.
Great video, guys. Great episode.
I was debating if I should drop that because It seemed like I was like, yeah, I just 20 million.
No, I knew yours was a lot higher, and that's okay. My worth isn't in views or how does it feel?
Or talking to girls. Our worth isn't talking to women either.
True.
We learned that from the last
Eli.
or one of those other episodes.
Oh, big shouts out to Eli for copping 2 pieces of merch, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Eli.
So sick. 2
Just
pieces of the
freaking
new
man.
merch. Shouts out to you. Got the hat and that new shirt.
Yeah, and if you want to be like super cool guy Eli, check out the merch down in the description below.
Check it out.
You actually can't get these, but we can. We got them.
We got them. I wore Soundloud shirt today and I got some stains on it.
Really?
I was also thinking,
Kind of stains, blood stains,
yep, because I was going to the got a few
killing people.
well slodgers. Keep it slodging, and I don't know what else to say other than keep making music and spend a lot of money on the music. Spend all your money on it. Actually,
Yeah.
it's better to live below your means than above your means without a bunch of cool music gear.
True. And always live below your means because you never know what's going to happen, man.
True.
Because there's a lot of, we were talking about this the other day, certain situations where specific people get into specific things and they end up being like, hey, I'm making a lot of money. And then they spend a whole lot of money on all of their, cost of living and everything. And then it's like, oh, hey, maybe I don't want to do this thing that makes me a lot of money anymore. And then they're like, well, I can't get out of it because I have to keep paying got to pay the rent. That's super expensive. And I got to buy all these, my car payment. That's super expensive. So always live well below your means because it's just a smart thing to do.
Facts.
But yeah, guys, let us know down in the comments below what is the most recent musical purchase that you bought.
I like to
honestly,
hear that.
what's the coolest musical purchase that you bought? Because I want to see you guys nerding out about guitars down in the comments or something. Because I love to nerd out about guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do is talk about guitars and music gear. And if anybody wants to talk about guitars and music gear, start a conversation with me down in the comments below.
And if you want to talk about interesting mixing and mastering techniques and plugins that you like to get into, and
No, you don't.
be sure to talk to me over there. And if you want to talk about your favorite Pokemons, me too.
I don't really know. Were you into Pokemon? Yeah. I was never into Pokemon.
Dude, I was huge into Pokemon trading the cards.
I had a couple.
Also playing the video game on my Nintendo DS.
But
I would
just never was into it.
When I lived in New York City, and Wesley and me and my little brother were homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go to the parks a lot. I was a homeschooled kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd meet with other homeschoolers. That's cool. Probably the weirdest group of people. I'm very thankful that I entered public school in 5th grade.
As you Reddit finger?
Because that made me normal.
Yeah. I am very glad.
I'm very glad I was only homeschooled for X amount of years.
I'm very glad that I'm not weird, actually.
But we would go to the park, and Wesley and I were huge into the Pokemons, and we would scam a bunch of 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
We'd be like, "Oh, dude, Articuno's not rare at all. You need my you need my Eevee. Eevees are pretty cool. Eevees are collectible. A lot of people like to collect Eevees.
They're pretty cute looking.
Yeah, they just have a lot of evolution periods and different stages.
Right.
Umbreon's definitely my favorite. Vaporeon's pretty sick.
Because it has one of each, right? There's like a